and I'm gonna start us. All right, welcome to what I believe we're calling First Reformed Take, the kind of impromptu Seth and Mike part podcast, part YouTube channel, part vamping about basketball. And we are here to underreact to the Celtics Cavaliers Emirates NBA Cup game that is just ending now with Boston up 116 to 109, ending Cleveland's magical run of 15 wins in a row to start the season. Seth, what is your underreaction to this game?
Um, yeah, it's if you're gonna lose an undefeated season after starting 15-0, you might as well be to the Celtics that I think are clearly one of the two best teams in the NBA right now. Unfortunate loss, but I mean, a team is just not going to shoot 53% on 41 three-point shots every game. I think the Celtics didn't even really attempt to, dry. I didn't watch much of the game. I was getting my kids to bed, but it sure seemed like it was a very typical Joe Mazzulla Boston Celtics game. The difference was literally they made 22 out of 41 3 points, and the Cavs made 9 of 27 3-point attempts. It's Donovan Mitchell and Garland went a combined 2 of 15. Garland, with you watched the game. Did he have Drew or Derek White on him most of the
Oh, I
game?
don't know. It switches up enough. I
Yeah.
they were bad offensively to start, and so were the Celtics. I watched all of the game in like detail up until the third when I was bored because the Celtics were blowing the doors off the Cavs, and I said, well, if they blow it, I'll just get mad, and I did. So. Uh, that's what happened, but they didn't blow the lead completely. Uh, I do disagree a little because I thought you would kind of say that, and it's usually what I say with like, well, the Celtics shot, they aren't going to hit 52% from three. But the thing is, the looks, oh wow, Mitchell just drained a long three to put it within four. Mitchell's awesome.
Yeah.
The thing is, their looks are so good. Like, it isn't the chuck it up kind of bullshit of most of the teams who do the 3-point strategy. When they're playing four out, sometimes five out, but I was seeing four out and usually Al kind of in the middle at the start. Like, they're just really good. And they were getting really clean looks. Uh, And yeah, I just the ball movement's so good when they're actually giving effort. And they cared today, not because it's the NBA Cup. The Celtics hate the NBA Cup and want it dead in the streets, but
I
they
don't
cared
know if
because
that's true.
Joe Mazzulla hates the NBA Cup.
Yeah, he probably doesn't care about the NBA Cup, which is unfortunate. But we'll talk a little bit about the NBA Cup. But we're underreacting to this loss for the Cavs. And my underreaction is oh well. And I think if I was the kind of person who was spending any kind of time on NBA Twitter or Reddit, I would
Oh boy.
find the discourse surrounding this game to be extremely annoying. I think inherently because people who post on NBA Twitter and Reddit are annoying people, but yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's a long season, and I think the narrative around the Cavs that this doesn't matter until they do it in April is probably fair. But again, there's no expectations for this team coming into the season. I'm pleased with the start for sure. As far as the NBA Cup standings are concerned,
So they had eight, by the way, as you were talking, Tatum kind of obliterated Mitchell. I would call that on Tatum. I'd say that was his fault. Um, I think Mitchell's okay, but Tatum kind of trucked him and shouldered his face for no reason. Uh, and
Yeah, I mean,
he's
well, that's why people don't really like this incarnation of the Celtics because they're just their try hard, I think, attitude sort of matches their coaches. I think Missoula is really the right coach for. I mean, I think Ime was too, and I think they probably would have eventually won a title with him had he not, cheated on his wife Mia Long. Um,
well, hey, they might have had a mutual agreement. What he really did wrong was stay within the Celtics organization and then make it so that every female employee was questioned by the
yeah,
public.
yeah, great stuff. And now he's in Houston, where I guess nobody cares about that because Texas is
Crime is legal.
increasingly Texas. The only thing it is illegal to be in Texas is a person with skin darker than milk trying to cross the border. That's the only crime left in Texas. But anyway, in terms of NBA Cup standings, I mean, the the Cavs will still have. I mean, I don't know how the tiebreakers work. I mean,
The
it's head to
point
head.
differential
So the
will
Celtics,
be okay for them.
yeah, but the Celtics will have the head to head for now. Do they play twice each
No, they
team?
don't. And this
Just
is why
once?
this is the issue with the NBA Cup. I'm pulling up the standings.
Okay. Because
The issue
they'll each
is,
be 1-1, and then the Hawks will be 2-0 because they beat the Celtics. So go figure that one.
I guess one of the reasons I like the NBA Cup is because I see where it's going, and it'll be very good, which is when we have groups of four and you play every team twice,
Yeah,
and then one team advances. That will be very good, but you need 32 teams.
yeah, and I don't know
Um,
when we're getting expansion. I mean, I assume
Theoretically,
before.
late 20s, right?
I was gonna say before the decade's out. I assume it'll at least be announced.
Yeah.
But part of me wonders if they're just waiting for LeBron and Steph to retire so they can be
I
owners.
kind of think they are.
And
I mean,
LeBron
I think
at this point, like if LeBron is still playing, I think in 3 years, and he's still playing somehow at the level he's playing, you need to just change the rule and let them do owner players again, and just say like, yeah, you know what, LeBron, you can have the Las Vegas Rollers now, and you can just be their like seventh man because what
Rollers
are we
is a
gonna
good
do
name.
here? I always thought the
That's
name
solid.
that it actually kind of is, and it kind of has like a '70s like ABA vibe to it. And if they
Yeah.
leaned into that, that would be great. The prophecy that I received when I opened my third eye taking ayahuasca in the desert last year was that I'm mostly kidding. Um, was that it would be something like the Las Vegas Empire or something? Because I think
Oh
that like sort
God.
of
Is
Matt,
something kind of WNBA like
yeah,
a
something to be,
single.
yeah, and like something sort of like, oh, it's like LeBron and Steph, and it's like we were in the empire business, and a lot of black and red and silver in the jerseys. I think I think that would still be preferable to like gamblers or rattlesnakes or
Well, it's not
bandits
going to
or
be gamblers.
any kind of boring ass Vegas themed
The
name, which
Outlaws.
the
Yeah.
outlaw, something like that. But like rollers
Awful.
would work because it's very much like a throwback name. And if they had like funky ABA style jerseys, but like I don't think the NBA would actually do that. They're too, and LeBron in particular is too image conscious.
Oh,
The real,
it'll be corporate
yeah,
done to shit, just like all team names are. But
yeah.
we have gone
I'm not
final
gonna.
120 to 117.
Okay,
So
so
only
we
three points,
the
point
Cavs beat
differential.
the spread. That's I'll count that
Yeah.
as a win. I'll count that as a win. There are untold numbers of Boston Southies who lost their parlays like you just did,
And that's
and
good.
it's bad for their wives, but it's
Well,
good for
that's
everybody
true.
else. Um,
So I have very detailed notes and I can run through some of them, but I don't think
sure.
the game is that interesting. But just so that we're actually talking about what happened in the game.
Yeah, run
Um,
through your notes, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit at just sort of how we feel about the NBA Cup
yeah.
generally. Yeah,
So this little spread here in the first quarter, first 4 minutes, the game's truly dreadful. No one's hitting anything. Eventually, the Celtics, just their offense works, getting clean shots. They're 5 for 8 from three. The Cavs are 0 for 4. That's going to be a lot of the difference. Also, the Cavs were really attacking inside the whole game, and the whole game basically came down to that they didn't get much going inside until the third. They were struggling to finish. Garland and Mitchell looked tired. Uh, I don't know. They weren't taking advantage of Al. Al had a really good game, and it's probably why the Celtics actually won. Um, Celtics eventually kind of fall off when Hauser and PP come in. The dubiously swagged white boys were dubious. Allen was killing them on the glass. Then I don't know. After that, it stayed fairly even. Queta, Celtics backup center, 88, Queta.
The
Uh,
Portuguese guy, right?
yeah, he was
Is he
holding
the
his
only
own.
is he the only Portuguese player in
I mean, I
like
had no idea he was from Portugal, I'll be honest.
well, I
Um,
mean, yeah, well his middle names are Esdras Barbosa, which is like very Portuguese to me. Um but
I
yeah, I
should
guess
have been able to tell by how he was whining to the ref at the end of the half after
that,
he
that he's a
made.
Euro player.
No, but it was even more Euro. He made this beautiful, beautiful pass to, I think it was to Derek White to finish, and White finished it for two. I think it ended the half. And then he was just still whining about being hit. It's like, big dog, come on,
The
man.
spirit of Manu Ginobili lives on with all of us. There was like a video that was going around basketball Twitter a few weeks ago that was like about like Ginobili's handles and saying like you have to like throw some respect on this man. And I'm just like I will never respect that man. Like I acknowledge he was a great player, but one of the most annoying people to I think ever step on a basketball court. Um,
And then in the third, it was ref ball, and
Ref
I
ball,
fully think it was ref ball. I'm
ref
sorry, I
ball.
hate people who say it, but it was the Mario Kart blue shell, and they just fired it on the Celtics. They were no calling everything. There was this really obvious charge on Derek White that they didn't call that led to three. A bunch of that kind of garbage. I had some threats written about Tony Brothers. But it all worked out
Probably
for the
probably
Celtics.
shouldn't express those
No, oh no, I won't.
publicly.
Um, Tony is fine. We won. It's all good. Uh, Horford elite, White elite, Drew great effort. Wasn't really. I don't know what the box score was. I wasn't seeing Drew as involved in the game.
Um,
Yeah, 11 points. He was the least involved scoring,
yeah,
and that played out on the tape.
his offense might finally be what the Bucks thought it was last year, but given that his role on this team, I think, is to be a perimeter defender and
Yeah,
a
and he
point of
was
attack defender
excellent on that. He
and a
was so
connecting
good.
piece. I mean, if you have a game where you have 4 assists to 1 turnover and you shot 3 or 4 from three, you did your job. So, I mean, you're not asking him to go out and get 25 points a night.
So
Um,
just from that Celtics point of view, this is like the team, and I think this team beats the Cavs in probably six right now, maybe seven. But that's without Porzingis, who then
mhm.
adds a huge piece. And yeah, the Celtics are goated. They're really good. It's fun to have a team this good, even if I don't always vibe with Tatum, Brown, or Missoula. I like the support. Oh, Peyton Pritchard had a few certified crazy white boy moments. Um,
Yeah, I think he's
he was
probably
good.
leading sixth man of the year right now, right?
You know what?
I would
Maybe.
assume. I don't
I
know
mean,
who
he's.
else. It usually seems like it goes to whoever the guy
I
who
kind of assumed
scores the
it would
most off
be
the bench. I mean, Naz Reid was
who's.
kind of an exception last year, but
Yeah, I thought it would be my boy on Oklahoma City, but Caruso coming in, but I
he's
don't think
hurt,
he's had
isn't
a.
he?
Yeah, he's had a terrible year, all in
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Oklahoma, like, it just goes to show you that there's only so much the process gets you that they did everything right. And they're 11-3, and they'll probably win tonight because they're sitting Wemby, which is
No,
we'll
cool.
talk about that in a minute, but um, Chet's hurt. Hartenstein, who they signed, is hurt. Caruso's hurt. The other Jalen Williams is hurt. I mean, if those guys aren't right by April, they're in a lot of trouble. regardless of what's happening now. But that's not necessarily relevant to the current
No, I guess
discussion.
not. I'm just kind of
So
intrigued. So that's about it on the game. It was good. I don't think we need to react much to the Cavs. I'm still pretty impressed by the Cavs in
yeah, what was
general.
your? Yeah, I mean, it seemed like just looking at the box score that Garland and had a pretty bad night, and then Mitchell was fine, but didn't. He
Yeah,
missed
I
enough
thought they were
threes that
both
it.
bad,
Yeah,
and I do think the Celtics are just better in causing that because they were playing defense hard on them. But I
yeah.
also
I
think the
mean,
guys are gassed. I know they have 4 and 7 this week.
they played a lot. Well, but Garland sat for the or not Garland. Mitchell sat for the Hornets game, so he
They have
should have
another
gone
game
in.
tomorrow, which I think they're just going to lose whoever it's against.
They are
It's against a bad
playing.
team.
They are
The
playing New. They're
Hornets.
playing New
No, sorry.
Orleans. They're playing New Orleans at home.
Well,
I think
watch
they
them
can.
lose to the awful Pelicans
I mean, it's definitely a
because they're going to
trap.
be gassed.
It's definitely a trap game, and thankfully they. I mean, that may be one where they sit someone, whether it's Garland or Mitchell or Mobley. But the Pelicans just have nothing. I mean, the Pelicans they're losing right now by 17 to a Dallas team that is as mediocre as we predicted. They
Oh,
just
you know
have
who?
literally nothing besides Brandon Ingram. Everybody's hurt on that team. So I mean, the Cavs weak legs or not, I think they can push through and they get 3 days. Then they have 2 games in a week, both of which are at home. So I think if Atkinson can get them up for that game, I think they'll be able to pull it out. It'll take the under would be my bet on that, but
Yeah. So two things. One, they were both going playoff rotations, 8-man rotations. This was a big game. Two, I was very unimpressed with Sam Morril, um,
I don't
who was being
understand.
hunted on
I don't
defense a lot.
understand the hype around him at all. Like people were saying last year, he's their secret weapon. He's their best like 3-point shooter. He's not. He's just a guy.
Look at this
Um,
bullshit.
you're gonna
What is
have to.
that?
Sorry, what?
It was just me on Sam Morril's
I
picture.
literally did not even have the Zoom call up because we
Uh,
weren't doing anything with it.
yeah, I'm just kind of messing
I
around
forgot.
with
I
it
forgot
as a
this is
second
actually.
screen.
I forgot. This is actually video and not a podcast.
Yeah, this is incredible content. Me focusing on Sam Morril and saying,
Just you gotta edit this with just like a slow zoom with like dramatic music over black and white over Sam Merrill's face.
I just was not. Oh, he's from Utah. Sorry to our Utah listener.
Now hang
Um,
on. So is the Cuetas. He played for Utah State too. They may have been teammates.
God, what the hell? They're making a factory out there.
They are making a
Um,
factory out there because now BYU has all this NIL money and they're
I
going to
know
have
BYU's
back
going
to
to be
back
nice.
top. I mean, they may have the number one pick next season in 26 with this AJ Dibanza kid who's really hyped up. Oh, I just saw the
The
Mitchell just
Tatum.
getting destroyed by Tatum. Yeah,
We can do some highlight. This was
this
Tatum's
is
fault.
this is going to be
Let's play some highlights.
the other.
This
That is an interesting floor. This is going to be a
that's bad, man.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I'm a defender.
What was Tatum's reaction? I mean, was he acting like it was his bad, or was he just kind of like, well, whatever?
I remember he just kind of walked away. I mean,
Yeah,
we
there's
can
going to
do
be some
highlight.
there's going to be some chippiness between these two teams, I
It's
think,
not
especially
really
because
like it's not a dirty play by Tatum. It's just stupid. It's a
yeah,
little
it's
dirty.
stupid given the context of the game. I think
Yeah, I mean,
it
it's
was not
just
necessary, but
you don't need to
It
go
looked like Horford dapped him up. I think Horford it seems like the Celtics designated one
dad.
guy with positive vibes.
Oh
He's sort of
no,
like the
White has great.
White has good vibes. I don't know. Didn't he get into a fight at a college football game this offseason?
Dude, getting into a fight
Okay, yeah,
drunk at
never
a
mind.
Colorado
Even
Buffalo
even
games is the
I
best vibes we
even
can
I have
have.
gotten into a fight at college football games. So
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. That is what college football is for.
he
So
has
all right.
immaculate vibes.
I will pass. I'll give Derek White a vibe check pass.
Drew too.
But Horford, I think, is like the Mike Conley, where I think pretty
Yeah,
much everyone likes him.
yeah, he's
So
respected. Probably a future Hall of Famer. In fact, he is because he won 2 college titles.
oh yeah, I forgot
Um,
they actually
Florida.
factor that in.
They do.
Yeah, don't remind me the Florida team that beat the Odin
Billy Donovan from
Conley.
Providence.
Yeah, he's still around doing something.
Mhm. Oh,
But anyway, okay.
Dodgeball.
What was your take? I mean, you said Garland had a bad game and Mitchell had like a stealth bad game, as bad as I guess a
Yeah.
35-point game can be. But what's your take on the Cavs? Because like there's been a lot of hype about Atkinson's new office and the ball movement, the cutting. I mean, did you see any of that tonight, or was it just the Celtics were
No,
able
I
to
didn't.
interrupt it?
They were they felt totally interrupted. They were tacking low and they weren't finishing, and
Yeah.
they weren't getting their if they got their threes to fall, they could have matched the Celtics, and the Celtics can't really keep up the energy they play at for what 48 minutes? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
48 minutes. But and they didn't in the third, but they fell behind too much
Yeah.
just because of the shooting. But I pulled up the insane stats on the Cavs. And really, I don't understand what any of this means.
I think green is good and red is
Green
bad,
is
correct?
good. I will say Sam Merrill again, kind of felt useless and felt like a huge liability
They
on defense.
still, I'm not even entirely sure why he got the start. I mean, they've been playing I
Porter?
not Porter, Isaac Okoro and Karis LeVert mostly at the three.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
Karis LeVert's out.
They still oh, is he
I
hurt? I didn't
forgot he was
realize
out
that.
today. Yeah, because Karis LeVert's been awesome this
Yeah,
year.
so he
I didn't
must be
even
hurt.
notice that he wasn't
because
playing.
because something I wanted to dovetail
He
into, and
was really good
I'll
last
allude
week
to it
when I was
now,
watching him.
is that it does seem like this was a game both teams took seriously. Now, was it because it's the NBA Cup? Maybe not,
No,
but the fact that you rest Mitchell against the Hornets so he's ready for this game, whether it was enough, who knows? But the fact that they took that approach, I mean, they clearly viewed this as a marquee game, and I think is it even if it's ancillary to the NBA Cup, this is what you want. You want a competitive game. Now, granted, it sounds like it was significantly choppier than what the final score was, but that's the NBA for you. There's going to be nights where it's just punch counter punch, and there's going to be nights where teams go on big runs, and maybe there's some ref ball
it was a
and
pretty good game in all honesty, though. Like regular season basketball is, I've gone back and forth on it. I've complained, I've defended it. I'll go back and forth again.
mm-hmm.
But when you actually sit down and watch the games and make it the main thing you're watching, it is pretty good as long as the refs are not breaking the pace of play too
Right,
much,
right,
which
and I
they
think
didn't tonight until
right.
they needed to get the game close.
Right,
Then they did.
until the call came in from New York. But
Yeah. But it is
yeah,
improving
yeah.
as a
I mean,
product, I
but
think.
ultimately, the question for the league is, are they taking the NBA Cup seriously enough? I think we've covered the game itself. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about the NBA Cup. We were going to do a preview. Both of us, I think, were waylaid by various bandits. These things
Illness and
happen.
evil and ghosts.
Evil,
Yeah.
evil ghosts. Yeah, a lot of ghosts these days. But anyway, um, we have, we've got six groups.
And
So
I still might do my video on the NBA Cup and semiotics, which is
I
actually
think
a serious video,
you
but also
should.
very funny.
I think you should, even if it's no longer a preview video. But so far, we're already sort of. I will say, I think the cup hasn't played out the way we probably would have expected in the preseason. I think, thank in part because a lot of the teams we expected to be good in the preseason just aren't. The Sixers are trash. The Bucks are stuck in the mud. The Pacers, Halliburton is something's
Yeah,
wrong
Pacers
with
are
him,
disappointing.
and the team has really come apart at the seams. Um, so you look at Group A. I think the big surprise so far is that the Magic have weathered losing Paolo Banchero, and well, I mean, their first game was against the Hornets. I mean, the Hornets are still pretty bad, but then they beat the Sixers the night I think Embiid came back. and Franz
Yeah, they did.
Wagner really stepped up, and he's really stepped up for them. And I think, that's something you want to see as the NBA is a second tier team like sort of the Pacers did
Sure.
last year is breaking through. East Group B,
Well,
you
the
can
Pistons
probably
being up 2-0 is very funny.
it is, and they're who did they, wait, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. They
I
beat the
believe
Heat
they
in
beat the
over. They beat the Heat in overtime, and I thought it was a great game.
and the
Um,
Pacers, right?
I Did they beat the Pacers? No, they beat the Raptors, and that's the Raptors without
Oh,
Scotty
okay.
Barnes. So that's a pretty bad team. But I think they came from behind to win that in the fourth quarter. I didn't see that game. I don't know if it was ref ball. The refs were Scott Foster, Tyler Ricks, and
Yeah, so it probably was.
Jason Goebel,
The
Jacyn.
Goebbels?
Jason.
Okay.
I'm calling you Jackin. Your name is Jackin. You're gonna
Jack
you're
and
gonna have
Goebbels.
you're gonna have the Jason with a C. I'm giving you the hard C for that. But anyway, Pistons being up 2-0 is a nice surprise. The Bucks, I, they don't play tonight, and that's something I want to complain. My one big complaint about the NBA Cup, and
Yeah,
we'll
the
get there.
schedule's all off, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. I do not like. I'll just interrupt myself here. I do not like the way they spread it out. I don't like we do like a couple nights of games. And like, yeah, sure, it's Tuesday and Friday. There's no competition from football. I get it. But then you're having the regular games that are not the uh, NBA Cup games
In
mixed in,
between.
and then you're having like uneven numbers of who's had how many Cup games. The schedule's bad,
It needs to
and I
be
think
32 teams. That's how
yeah,
this works,
it's 32
and that's
teams,
where they're gonna
and
go.
they need to spend the month of November, November, December, the pre-Christmas, beginning of the season, but it's no one's quite bought in yet. And I think the stakes need to be higher at some point, but I don't want to get too
Yeah.
much
Well,
into
you know what
that.
I would like is just again, groups of four. You play everyone twice. You can play
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday and
Mm-hmm.
Friday, home and
Yeah,
away.
exactly. Exactly.
And it's a really nice I assume that's where they're going with this
I would
because
hope. I would hope. I don't think they
I
need to.
really do like the NBA Cup when we get to the last games of the group stage, and then I
Yes.
love the tournament. It's like awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
don't
good.
think outside of people who just do not seem to have bought into the NBA Cup idea at all, and I think we can frankly dismiss those people because it's all just legacy media guys in their 50s
Yeah.
and up. Um, I have not heard anybody say anything bad about the knockout stage of the NBA
No,
Cup.
every except for the Vegas crowd, maybe. I think was pretty weak,
Yeah,
but Vegas is
yeah,
always an issue. Corporate America, whatever you want to call it, is obsessed with Las Vegas as their like dream. F1 has made it kind of work, annoyingly, but yeah, the whole Vegas finals thing, that can go once we get a real team there,
yeah.
and we can just
And then I think it should
do
be
it
a
different.
floating neutral site. I don't know. I mean, put it someplace where people put it. I mean, I don't
Put in
know.
damn Mexico City,
Yeah. Put it in the cage. What is that place? The cage in the
Cape
in
Verde.
Brooklyn. Not Cape Verde. I'm talking about the outdoor court in just put a bunch of heaters
That
and
would
tell
be
these guys
fun.
to play
That'd be fun.
outside.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's a really good idea.
yeah. Yeah. So no, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think they're still sort of figuring out, how to schedule this. I think they're still figuring out how to incentivize this. But once things get down to the nitty gritty, um, I think everybody's having a blast. And one and done sort of the NCAA tournament style, you could definitely see the intensity in the games last year. But anyway, I do want to just gloss over
We
the
do have
rest of.
more time than our running out of time says. We have 10 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we just want to gloss over the rest of the groups quickly. So now in East Group C,
well, C is
Hawks
fun because the Cavs and Celtics are
are
now in
good.
a
And
point differential battle that the
yes,
Cavs
and
are
the
probably
because
going to win.
The Cavs need to beat the Hawks now if they're going to advance. But because
And they'll murder them.
the Hawks did them a favor beating the Celtics in the Garden. That was nice.
Yeah.
But I don't really see, the Bulls or certainly not the Wizards offering much competition
Cavs
in
are
this
going to
group.
advance. Cavs are going to advance on point differential. They're going to take it
Well, they're
serious and
going to
blow out
have
some
to
of these
because they're
teams.
in they're going to end up being in a second place battle with the Knicks and maybe the Bucks.
Oh yeah, the
Because the
Knicks
Knicks,
probably Knicks and Magic. Probably the Celtics
the
don't get in,
well, I mean the
honestly.
Celtics, no, because the Celtics have the head to head. That's the tiebreaker. It's not point differential.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
then they better hope the Hawks also get the head-to-head, which they can, and that's a three-way tie.
yeah.
And then it goes to point differential.
Then it gets tricky. So the Knicks, it comes down to, well, but the Knicks, I think, will probably end up beating the Magic and being in first place. And then it's a question of have the Magic done enough to against the Nets, Thorns, and Sixers to outpace the Cavs. But that's in the East. We're still probably, I would say, at least a week away before things really sort of ramp up with the games there. Looking at the West Group A, we got Rockets, Blazers, Timberwolves, Kings, and Clippers.
God, the Clippers logo stinks. The team
It's annoying.
stinks.
Yeah. This was I think this was perceived as being sort of in the middle of the road among the groups, but then the Clippers have been pretty middling this year. The Kings are okay. The Blazers are terrible, but ironically, they have one of the wins
Yeah, man,
over the
they might just
Timberwolves.
4-0 this and make a real some really funny team is going to do that. Probably the Pistons,
The Pistons are
because they
probably the best
actually
bet
do
because that's a
have a little
pretty
talent.
weak, and that's a pretty weak group outside of the Bucks. And the Bucks are kind of a mess right now anyway. In the West, I mean, the West Group A. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Timberwolves should come out of this, but they needed
They should,
overtime to
but
beat the
this could be a weird
Kings.
team, and I'm actually going to the
Yeah.
Timberwolves Celtics game.
Oh,
They'll be
nice.
focused on that,
Yeah, I
which
can't imagine the Celtics drop that game, but weirder things have happened,
no,
like
they'll care
losing
about that
losing by
game too.
one to the Hawks. Yeah. West Group B, pretty. Yeah, I mean it's clearly the Thunder on top in this one, and then Lakers, Suns, Spurs, Jazz. And I wanted to circle back to the Wemby thing. He is out tonight. I guess he butted knees with Anthony Davis and he missed the Mavericks game, which I think might have been a
Disgusting.
back to back anyway. Um, but I thought he'd be back for this, and he's not. And now the question becomes: is this because the Spurs do not care about the NBA Cup and a game that is at least theoretically competitive? Or is it
Yeah,
because Wemby is genuinely banged up? If it's the latter,
I think it's the
that's
latter.
I'm concerned about that. I'm trying
It
looking
was
at
off a back-to-back, the Dallas game.
yeah, which is why I
Um,
thought he was just taking a normal day off, but they yeah, their schedule does not ease up. They don't have like a 3 or 4 day break until
no, they could get him into Utah here, but then
that's a
this
back to
is
back
a
with the
bad
LA.
stretch.
They have a bad stretch, and if he's legitimately banged up, I mean, he may not be back until it's 100%, which
Yeah,
stinks.
Sacramento.
But hopefully this is just a little bit of injury rest gamesmanship, and he'll be back against maybe Golden State on Saturday, but we'll see. But either way, doesn't seem likely that they're pushing it just for the NBA Cup purposes.
No,
This
and
is
they
one,
shouldn't.
and
They really
at
shouldn't.
this point they probably shouldn't. Again, they're not quite incentivized enough
Well, that's
with
the other thing about the setting is that they already have a loss. So it's going to take
right.
3 wins, and they don't even have control really of their own fate. So
No, and that
there's no incentive to do it
correct,
for them.
correct.
The winner of the NBA Cup, I'm sad to announce, is in Group C. The Emirates NBA Cup will be won by Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors because we live in a cursed world and God is
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. I mean, the
And because it would
Warriors.
be really good for the NBA to have
Yeah, I
LeBron and
mean,
Curry get those.
yeah. Unfortunately, I think you're correct. And this was cited as a group of death preseason. As it turned
I
out,
wish.
the Pelicans fell apart almost immediately due to the injuries. And speaking of not taking the cup seriously, Nikola Jokic is just sort of MIA. I mean, what
Yeah, I
is
know.
he keeps
I don't
getting
want to
DNPs
speculate too much.
personal,
One
but
of them was
like,
personal.
but we haven't heard anything about what that is, right? That hasn't been
No.
announced in the media.
And it's probably like a parent dying or something would be your guess
Yeah,
whenever
or
this happens.
someone's having a health issue. So yeah, I'm
But
not interested in prying, but clearly the Nuggets are not making the the cup a priority.
no.
Now, are the Warriors? I think a
Yeah,
little bit,
they're
yeah.
annoying and they'll want it
Although,
and
yeah,
they're good this year.
it's a Draymond Green coded tournament, I would say.
Did you think the Draymond Green thing on was it on Edie? Uh his recent flagrant. Did you think that was that bad? Because I didn't think it was even that bad when I saw it.
It was not that bad for Draymond. He's done
I
way
know.
worse,
Maybe
but
that's it. Maybe I have low
he's at the
expectations.
point where
Typical teacher.
he doesn't really get the benefit of the doubt. And if they suspended him for that, I
Maybe a
he's not going
little
to get the
much to
sort
me.
of maybe like a game suspension,
Yeah, I mean, I
but
won't
like
cry for him
no. I mean, he
unless
can't.
he's made to go on NBA TV or whatever, then I'll be mad.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't want to see him
Draymond,
on
I
there
don't know. He
anymore.
just can't seem to help himself. And like, I think the one weakness the Warriors have the is that when he goes out of the lineup, they just sort of they lose something. I don't know what that is, but they fell apart last year when he was suspended. I mean, you could blame a lot of the 3-1 collapse on him getting suspended in that series. So I know some of it is, yeah. The Warriors are interesting because I don't think they expected Buddy Hield to be this good,
We
and
have
I'm
2 minutes
skeptical
left.
he's going to keep up shooting 46% from three. But like you said, he's getting the looks. All right, yeah, 2 minutes.
We
I
can
mean,
finish up with Pat Riley getting a statue, which I hope is terrible.
I hope it looks as bad as the Wade statue.
Yep.
Yes. And then other than that, I would love to hear your semiotics take on the NBA Cup, but I think I'm looking forward at this point to the games of the 26th and on, because that's when we start getting some
Yeah,
standings
that's
clarity, and
when
that's
we
when
know.
some stuff gets interesting. So yeah.
And that's when
Um
people actually start fighting for point differential. Now, should they
mhm.
do it early? Yeah,
Yes.
they should. Am I mad about it?
Yes.
Yeah, but I get it. Um, they are annoying. So it is what it is. Oh, I thought they were giving Carl Anthony's Town a captainship, but it's just that they are giving ESPN Plus is giving a C to the Knicks for getting Carl Anthony Towns. This is so stupid. The Warriors get an A for playing a 12-man rotation. I really hate this website.
ESPN.
Um,
They are fortunate that every other sports like box score website is
we
just
have a minute
really
left. Who's your MVP
bobo
for the year?
so far.
Yeah.
Um, Shoot, I'm trying to think of an irony. Cam Johnson. I don't know.
Well, you know, I think it's
He's
actually
going off
Tatum, which
tonight.
is really funny.
He's going off tonight. He's got 31 points on a 5 of 10
Oh
three-point
yeah, we're kind
shooting.
of having a great game. Go Nets. We all hate our
Can't
Hornets.
I think they swapped Cam Thomas's jersey with Cam Johnson's because Cam Thomas is not playing for some reason. Anyway,
Um, MVP should be Jokic, but since it won't be, it'd be really funny if Tatum won it on a
I think
year
that'd be
where he didn't deserve it. And I think he might, and that would be great, and I would have a really fun time with that.
yes. The Derrick Rose